Hi everyone, it's Sal Jade and I'm coming to you here live today in How to Be Psychic to help answer any questions you've got about your psychic development and how to improve your psychic gifts. So I've started doing this once a month in How to Be Psychic because I really wanted to be able to give you a bit more contact with me, and being able to ask your questions and answer your questions as a community can really help improve your psychic development. And if you're not joining me live, it will say #replay. But don't worry, if you're not here live, I can still answer your questions. So I'd just like to start by thanking all the lovely people this month who have taken the time and effort to review How to Be Psychic. I really appreciate the efforts you've gone to, just making a couple of comments to say what you loved about the course. So thank you, Robert Stead and Sarah Bell and Janine Stickley and Anna McClements. Hi, thank you, darling. I think you reviewed twice, so thank you so much. And I really appreciate that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to answer 5 questions that I've been asked by members of this group that are all really relevant questions that I actually get asked quite frequently. So that's great. There's nothing here that's outside the boat, so to speak. And if you have any questions as I'm going through about challenges that you're having, please pop them in here and I'll answer them as we go through. So first of all, I'm going to start with the lovely Ablis. Now, Ablis asked, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name, gorgeous, correctly. So what can I do to really hear my spirit guides and not my mind? And how do I distinguish? Now, first of all, just keep in mind, it's really common when you are practicing to become a professional, or even when you're just opening up your psychic gifts, to get really, hello Nikki, hi Raina, hi Leslie, to get really confused and to kind of almost believe yourself that, okay, I'm just imagining that. It's not really happening. It's just in my mind, and it's only because I thought it that happened. And one way, so I've got 3 different solutions for you, Ablis. The first one is what I do, and I did this quite early on when I was starting to open up my psychic gifts, is I actually ask to speak to a guide who is the opposite sex to me. So what I did was I started communicating and hearing quite loudly Archangel Michael's voice, and Archangel Michael's voice sounds very different to my voice. And so often if you ask for or Merlin or Archangel Raziel if you're female, and if you're a male, maybe Kuan Yin or Mother Mary. And if you're asking for opposite sex voices, it's easier to distinguish between your own voice and their voice. So that's one little tip that I often use if I'm not sure. Hello, Elaine. Hi, Irene. How are you, Irene? Is that how you say it? It's a beautiful name. Hello. I love your little flowers. And hello, who else is joining me here today? We've got Tona, thank you. And Tara, I'm going to answer your question too. Hello, gorgeous. So yours is one of the 5 questions I'm answering today. And for those of you who have just joined, if you've got any other questions, please pop them in and I will answer them as I get through these 5 questions that I'm going to be prepared for, that I've prepared for you today. So that's my first tip, Ablis, is to go in and ask to speak to a guide who is the opposite sex to you, because you're more likely to recognize a gender that's different from your own. Now, the second one, and this probably applies to anyone who's asking questions about your psychic confidence, is just allow the voice to be. So instead of questioning the voice, just allow it. So just go, instead of going, is that my voice, is it that, and worrying, because nothing blocks your psychic visions and your psychic abilities more than fear. And don't judge yourself for having fear. It's very normal, but just allow the voice to be. And it doesn't matter right now at the beginning if it's your voice or an angel's voice, just allow it. Note what it says, write it down, and then see how it resonates with you, because you'll find that your angels and guides speak kindly to you. Is it a gentle voice? Is it loving? Is it different from how you usually speak to yourself? Because most of us are usually quite critical of ourselves, or we're usually a little bit bullying or a little bit pressury of ourselves. So if it's a kind and loving voice, then it's most likely to be an angel or a guide. And my third suggestion is, if you haven't done it already, my next level up from this course, which is Psychic Readings Intermediate Level, has a whole week's worth of activities on clairaudience and how to strengthen your clairaudience and how to strengthen your clairvoyance and your other clairs. If you haven't done that, or if you've only just started it, go in and really take each one of those exercises to strengthen your clairaudience, because working on that actively, like I work on those activities all the time for me, and that's how for me I practice being able to get really clear and knowing if it's Merlin's voice, if it's Mother Mary's voice, or knowing if it's just my own little inner wisdom. So that's something that I have done. Like I work on those exercises. So if you haven't done psychic readings intermediate level, that could really help, because I give you an assignment on how to strengthen one element, and so that could really help as well, sweetie. So I hope those 3 suggestions get you on your way, and let me know how you go with them. So who else have we got here? Sarah, hello, my love. I thank you for your gorgeous review. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Angela, I'm going to answer your wonderful question too. And Mary, hello. And hello, Meredith. How are you? I miss seeing you and your gorgeous little Bubba. I assume he's big and grown up now. It's been a couple of years. I assume he must be like walking and running by now. So lovely to see you, honey. So my next question comes from Donya. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How come, so Donya asks, how come when I do yes, no questions, are they often inaccurate? And why do they often turn out not to be true? Now, this again is a fantastic question. And this is part of the reason why I don't answer yes, no questions. Because for me, the universe has such a level of complexity about why and how and what we're meant to learn and what we're meant to know and how we can best get to where we want to go in life, that yes and no is just way too black and white. And again, I actually go into this in Psychic Readings Intermediate level as well. So I do a whole section on how to rechange the when will I get this, or is this the right man for me, is this the best job for me? And so let's touch on that one. For example, the reason when a client comes to me and they want to know about taking a job, instead of me saying, should I take this job? And I ask that, I say, what do I need to know about taking this job? Because taking this job might lead to heartbreak. It might lead to fighting with the boss. It might lead to feeling like you might even get sacked. And so the cards would all be like, no, 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 this is awful. This is going to be the worst experience of your life. But what if taking that job taught you a resilience? Or what if you met a friend there who ended up being one of your best friends? Or what if you met your soulmate there? Or what if something else happened to you in terms of taking back your power that made it possible for you to achieve your life purpose? So that's a classic example. Like, you might get all negative cards around something and then just go, oh, well, I won't take that. But if you say, what do I need to know about it? And you get some beautiful major arcana spiritual lesson cards, like maybe like the devil, for example, if you're doing the tarot, or you get an oracle card that says, meditate, or dig deeper, or father healing or mother healing or something around that, then there could be something fundamentally that you need from this job. So if I had done, when I worked in one of the schools I worked in, if I had done a card reading, should I take this job? Trust me, those cards would not have been my pretty friends. Not at all. However, like I went through a lot of trauma through that job. However, that job led me to where I am today. And so being able to say, what do I need to know about taking this job, gives the universe and your angels and guides more to work with. Yes, there might be heartache, there might be heartbreak, there might be troubles. And I'm sure any of you who have been in a job or been in a bad relationship can look back and say why it helped you. And so that's why, for me, I think the universe almost doesn't want us to do yes, no, because it wants us to have a bigger picture, not a smaller picture. So that could be, Donya, why your readings are coming out inaccurate, because it's not giving, like, the angels don't want us to necessarily, like, if you pull all negative cards, you might then go, well, my free will is I won't take that job. But that job could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, that job could give you the seed of an idea that starts another business that changes your life. So that's why, for me, yes, no questions don't work so well. And that might be why you can continue to get them wrong. So that could, bear thinking about rephrasing the question, and you might get much better results. So, Robert, hello. Who else has joined me? Oh, hello. Oh, I've got lots of people. Thank you. It's so wonderful to see you all here. Thank you. Hello, Rachel. So Robert asks a very excellent question about diet and psychic connection. So he says, does eating animal products, does that subvert or damage or interfere with my ability to be able to connect psychically? Because there are some readers that very strongly say yes. I remember Doreen Virtue was one of those readers. She ended up going totally vegan. And, there are lots of readers that believe that they can only connect if they are vegans or if they're not having any animal products, whereas others are totally fine. So for me, my answer to that is I believe whatever feels good in your body is probably going to give you the best readings, because if your body is stressed, then you're not going to be able to connect, because your immune system could be feeling damaged, or you could be feeling a bit, wired from too much sugar. I personally will give, I guess I'll give you both sides of the story. I don't think eating a lot of meat all the time is probably necessarily great for your vibration. Like, I think because it's harder to digest, and yes, if animals have been prepared cruelly, then you could take on that karma. However, I am a meat eater, and I was a meat eater for my entire, the first, all the years when I started to be a psychic, right up until now. And I haven't found that it's interfered at all. And in fact, I was a vegetarian for 7 years, many, many, many years ago, back in my 20s, many, many years ago. And I didn't find that I was necessarily any more psychic because I wasn't eating meat. So I can give you both sides of the stories. For me, some of the most gifted psychics I know eat meat. For some of the most gifted psychics I know say they can't eat meat. It absolutely toys with how they are. I look at it in the way that whatever works for your body, and if you're not sure, then try it. Do a month without meat and see how your readings are. See if you feel like you are more connected. For me also, I really respect vegans a lot. I respect that the choice they've made to leave a plant-based life. I understand why they've done it. And as I said, I once did follow that path myself, and I do really respect it. And I respect that other readers might disagree and say, yes, the only way you can connect better is with no meat. But I guess my only counter discussion with that would be, well, American Indians, they're shamanic healers, they obviously ate meat. They ate buffalo, and they hunted, and they fished, and they ate meat, and they were still channeling spirits. And the old gypsies from hundreds of years ago, they would have eaten meat to survive. So I don't think it's a black and white issue. I think it's an issue that whatever works for your body is best. And discovering that will be your own unique journey. So I would go 4 weeks without meat and see if you feel like your readings have improved. And if that is the case, then stick to that. And that's what I would do. Okay, so I hope that's helped, Robert. Tara, this is a great question, and again, a very common question. How do I deal with my nervousness and my lack of confidence? I tend to take it personally when I get things wrong. So if I don't get it right, and so what's my best advice for that? Okay, the first one would definitely, I've got a few suggestions for you, sweetie. The first one would definitely be around ritual. So for me, every time before I do a reading, I spend 20 minutes to 30 minutes preparing for that reading. So you might say that's a lot, but that's what I need to get grounded and to get into my space. And you might not need that much. You might only need 5 minutes. But the more you take the time to prepare yourself energetically with your vibration, then the stronger chance you are of being incredibly present. And when you're incredibly present, you will give the best readings. Now, say you go, well, okay, I've tried that, but I'm still feeling really vulnerable, and I'm feeling like I made a mistake in that last reading. I am, as some of you know, the biggest fan of tapping. I created the course Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT tapping for the sole reason that it was the one thing above all other things that helped me stay confident. Because I could get boosts of confidence. I could give someone a reading and it go really well, and then me go, woohoo, okay, I'm a great reader now. And, and then the next time, if something wasn't 100%, I would start to fall apart. And as Tara said, I might go, okay, I've just really seen that they've come into a new job, but they're saying, no, they've been at the same job for 3 years. What might that mean? And I'd freak out. Tapping is what helped me overcome that. It helped me trust myself, because lack of confidence is usually about not trusting yourself. So every time before I do a reading, and even now, 10 years later, I will tap. I am profoundly clairvoyant. I will tap. I give this person exactly what they need. And so that's one of the ways that I have overcome my nerves. And as I said, please don't think those nerves can stay with you. I think all psychics still have stages of getting a bit of stage fright, just like actors get stage fright, you can still get a bit fearful. Practicing is obviously another one. That's a really good one. The more you practice, the less you'll wobble. Now, and the reason that is not only because your skills will improve, but because the more you practice, the more if you get hit with what I call a roadblock. So you say you look at like I did then, and you say, okay, I can see there's a new job coming. And the person straight away says, no, I'm happy in my job. No, I have no intention of leaving it. That's a roadblock. So obviously you're going to be taken aback, and you're going to be like, okay, what's this about? Why did I see this? Now, if you've cleared yourself and you've done everything that I spoke about previously and that still is happening, then I would just say, okay, I don't know why that's come in. Be honest. I don't know why it's come in. It's come in very strong. This might be something that comes up for you in the next 12 months. And, because you don't know what could happen to that person in the next 12 months, just keep that in the back burner. And if for me, if I'm seeing something on someone and they're adamantly saying no, 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 and it comes up again in the reading, then again, I will say, look, this just keeps coming back. You don't have to do anything. Just keep it in the back pocket, okay? Because this, for some reason, this is what the guides and angels or the cards are connecting. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it's not your job to figure out why. Just share the information and let them take that away. Now, if you fear that you're going to get it wrong, again, the tapping, I always feel like I'm going to get it wrong, I'm going to make a mistake. Keep in mind, the clearer you are and the more you're doing your rituals to say, I'm only going to attract people I can help and heal, the less likely you are to attract people who will offer up a cloudy energy. So I also spend time before I do a reading grounding my client. So once they've given me permission to read for them, I will actually send them love and I will send them grounding energy to bring them into the present, because they might be asking you a question and they might be saying, okay, they might have asked a question, but 7 other things are going on in the background and in their computer programs. There could be too many programs on at once. And so that could be slowing down the computer. So that could be why you're getting confusion in your readings and maybe a wrong things coming through because they've got too much going on. So that's another thing that can be going on. So again, don't take it personally. Just move on, keep going, and try not to have that and afterwards do some tapping on yourself, breathe in, ask your angels to be with you, ask them to give you more clarity. Something I do when I hit a roadblock with someone is if I feel like that person's shifting and changing and they're becoming a bit hostile towards me, and this does happen, I then step back and go, okay, do you mind? I'm just going to take a moment to tune in and see what this is about. Because sometimes even just taking a step back, closing your eyes, asking your angels and guides, why did I see that when that's not what's going on? Take a breath in, take a breath out, draw a card, and see if you get more clarity. That can often happen. Something else that often happens is by the end of the reading, and this happened to me once at a Mind, Body, Spirit festival where I'd done 17 readings and I was really at the end of my tether, and a lady sat down, and the first thing I could see, I was like, oh, wow, you're going to have this amazing creative opening, and wow, you're really artistic, and you're blah, 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 blah. And that just all came through. And she just looked at me really blank-faced and went, I'm a nurse. No, I'm not an artist. No, she was giving me nothing. Not even I'm sorry, love, you got it wrong. It was a very adamant no. And I just kept going. I thought, okay, just keep going, Sal, keep going. I got to the end of the reading, and then she said at the very end, because I went, okay, well, this art stuff's still coming up, but I'm just going to leave that with you. And she goes, actually, I just started taking acting classes 2 years ago. I always wanted to be an actor. And now I'm doing it again, and I'm really enjoying it. So can you see how sometimes you're getting it right, but they don't realize what it is? They haven't made the connection. So just allow for that, leave it in their court and say, that's what I'm getting, and then move on. So I hope that helps, Tara, because I know that's a really tricky one. So again, the ritual beforehand, spending the time cleansing your energy, asking the angels to clear you, tapping for your confidence, and just being really sure that it's not their energy. Ask the angels to ground them, and then if it's still coming in, just keep going to the end of the reading and see if it makes a bit more sense. Now, the next one is from Angela, and she says, I've been getting all these niggles in my stomach. How do I figure out what they are? Now, that can be a number of different things, but this is a really great example of any kind of issue on how to work with your angels and guides. So the first thing I would do is I would surrender that one up to my angels and guides, and I would say, this is really worrying me. I'm getting all these niggles. I don't know if it's a physical symptom. Maybe it's my digestion. I don't know if I'm feeling powerless. I don't know if it's just that I'm nervous and I'm stressed, or if I'm anxious, or I don't know if I'm having an acid reflux, or, so it's about actually working with your angels and co-creating with them and our guides, and saying to them, I need to know what this is. Can you help me? Now, that answer might not come right away. And what you can do is something, you can pull a card and say, what do I need to know about that? So I do that a lot in my health readings course about mastering health readings. But you can just get started on that with an oracle card. Like, what do I need to know about my stomach? And see what comes up. It could be just nerves. It could be power. It could be a health issue. It could be that you need to get your digestion checked. So doing that is the first one. The second one is working with your angels. Say, look, if this is, you know, ABC, then send me a sign. Give me 3 days, and you'll probably find, like, you'll just see a book. It'll stand out in the store for you. That'll be maybe the solution, or you'll overhear a conversation, or a friend will tell you something. And so they're all different ways you can work with your angels and guides to get answers to things that are really not, that are confusing you and you're not sure of. So start with your beautiful cards, then put it out to the angels and guides to send you a sign, and give them, as I said, 3 days or a week to bring something back to you. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Hello, Alison. Hello, how are you? Alison is our very gifted medium. She's amazing. She teaches mediumship and she is awesome. And she's been probably one of the longest time members of this group. Like, I'm talking nearly 5 years now. So she's been here for a very long time. She's an animal communicator too. She's awesome. So she runs, what's your group called, Alison? Is it Spirit Tribe? Something like that. It's beautiful. I love getting her in my feed. Leanne, that answers your question too. Thanks. Wonderful. Tara, very helpful. Thank you so much. Going to learn tapping. Awesome. And Rich, hello. Samantha, hello. Okay, I think that's all the questions for now. If you've got any questions that I haven't answered, please pop them in here, and I'll do my very best to answer them. Or if you're not here live, I will come back and answer them for you. So as I said, don't worry, I will be popping back in. So just to recap on that, just, you know, working with your nerves, I do find tapping really helps. That's a really great way to shift your anxieties, because one of the things that blocks most psychics is fear. Working consistently with your guides to help clear you before doing readings, that's really, really important. Like taking the time for ritual, don't feel like you have to rush it. And when it comes to yes/no questions, give the universe something to work with. Give them something to explain the rich tapestry that could really be what's behind the scenes, because that's what's going on. The angels are working behind the scenes. There is a whole play going on behind that question that you're asking. And so yes/no might not be able to cut it. And for Robert, as I said, like the more people you can talk to about this, the better. But for me, I function very well eating a moderate, I don't eat a lot of meat, but I eat a moderate amount of meat, and I can still, my psychic connections still are very strong. I was a vegetarian for 7 years and they weren't certainly stronger then. So it's up to, as I said, some vegans will say when I ate meat, I could never connect. So it's definitely up to you. Experiment with yourself and see how you go with that. And what was the last little recap? Bliss. So yeah, try the male, female, gender thing, Bliss, as well. Try that and try working on your clairaudience skills. So I hope that's helped everyone. I'll just say goodbye. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Angela. Awesome. I'm glad that helped. And have a wonderful week, guys. I will see you here next month in How to Be Psychic. And as always, if you've got any questions, reach out. Bye.